Hello and welcome back. My name is Nunu and I'm gonna do the mid-year freakout tag. I've been doing this tag for ever since I have started making videos, so I kind of forgot it existed, and then I was like, oh wait, this is about the time I always make that one video that I've been doing ever since I started making videos. So just to pay homage to, doing it third time. I don't know. This is the mid-year freakout tag. It's just like a tag where you answer a couple questions, and I'm gonna do the same questions I did last year. So it's kind of adding on and building off of the previous questions from the original tag. Got my tea. Yay, look at my mug. I actually painted it. It looks kind of ugly. I tried to go for like a honey vibe, it's from a honey pot, and then that just didn't happen. So the best book I've read so far this year is definitely The Vegetarian by Hong Kong. I really enjoyed this book. It was really disturbing, but I feel like I learned a lot. I don't know what it is about South Korea. I feel like it's just a big cultural divide from what I know from here and what South Korea is, what their culture is like, what Korean culture is like. It was really interesting to learn from that, and it was really disturbing, but I feel like the thematic undertones were just really well written, and I feel like I had a lot of takeaways from it. And I tried to look for more interviews with the author, but I couldn't find many. So yeah, it's like a book that stuck with me. I think about it often, and I would like to read more of her work. So the second question is best sequel I've read so far this year, and so I've only read two, which is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is a reread, and Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer. And so I'm gonna have to say I don't know. If I want to go nostalgic, I could go Harry Potter, but the only new sequel I read is A Heart So Fierce and Broken, so I'll go with that. The first book is a fantasy retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and then the second book kind of goes more into what if Prince had a brother and he's the actual heir to the throne, and then it's kind of unraveling from there. It was good, but there were a couple of little mini flaws around it, but overall it was fine. Third question is new release you haven't read yet but want to, and I've been seeing Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green in every single bookstore I walk into, so I kind of want to read it. Then another one that everybody has been talking about is The Dream Hotel by Layla Lalami, and I've read one of her books before for Arabic Literature and Translation, a class that I had taken my freshman year, which was 3 years ago, which is crazy to think about, but I thought it would be cool to read. I'm pretty sure it's the same author. She wrote The Other Americans, so that was the book that we read in class, and it was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but I've heard a lot about The Dream Hotel, and so I kind of want to read it because I feel like it is something that I would enjoy. It's all I know about it is that it's a dystopian, what happened if people could read into your dreams, and then based off of that they analyze if you are more likely to attack or be murder or a threat to society, essentially. And so based on a dream this woman has, she is detained by who? She's detained by essentially US Customs, I think, at the border when she was traveling, and they're oh, you're really likely to murder your husband, so you're gonna have to spend I think 21 days in a prison until you can prove yourself that you are not a threat to society or whatever. But these 21 days will start if you do anything bad, if you have any dreams or anything like that that would kind of go against what the threat to society is, and so it restarts over. And that's kind of the premise of it. It's kind of goes hand in hand with I think it with technology, and how far is too far in privacy, how far should we be able to invade somebody's privacy to see if they're actually a threat to society. So I thought it'd be really interesting to learn and read about, so definitely want to read that, and I think that came out this year. Yes, most anticipated release for the second half of this year. I didn't really keep up with releases until they kind of blare out on the internet, so I don't really know about this one. Number 5, Biggest Disappointment. I'm gonna say Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I've been seeing it hyped everywhere, and I know that Haley Pham talks about it, but I saw another girl like reading Haley Pham's best books, and she said, yeah, this book is kind of mid. So I was like, maybe it's gonna be mid, maybe it'll be great, I don't know. But I didn't really like it, didn't enjoy it, so it was kind of a disappointment. But also, I wrote The Stepsister Scheme by Jim C. Hines. And this is like another fairy tale retelling about a couple people that what happens if the stepsisters were suddenly really powerful and they took Cinderella's prince and then she had to go save him, essentially. It was kind of like a retelling. It was not my favorite. It was boring. I also put Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. I didn't know what I was going into. It was just like one of those $5 books at Barnes & Noble, so I said, oh, like, I'll just read it for fun. And I didn't enjoy it. The novella was short, but I think it took me a while to finish, and it was just, I didn't understand it. It felt like the plot was, like, nowhere, and then it was everywhere, and then it was, like, it was frustrating that I didn't understand it. So I don't know if it's just me and my small brain, or if it's, like, just not a good, I don't know. It was just a disappointment because I was hoping it would be better, but maybe Barnes & Noble and the $5 deals from Starbucks are just not my taste in books, because Better Than the Movies was also a $5 book from there. My biggest surprise of this year, just to like not be a broken record, I said Shockaholic by Carrie Fisher, which is a memoir about Carrie Fisher and how she like kind of her rise to fame, and then what it did to her mental health, and how she essentially became detached from Carrie Fisher and became Princess Leia, and kind of how she had to deal with that, and like how she tried to go through different procedures, including shock therapy, and how she lost a lot of her memory. So a lot of the memoir is kind of like, you can't be reliable because her memory has been kind of all over the place due to the shock therapy. Now she's gone through different therapies to try to be better or feel better. Not be better, but like mentally, just feel better mentally. Yeah, so it's just an interesting memoir. It was fun to learn about Carrie Fisher because I don't know much about her. So that was a fun, pleasant surprise. And yeah, it was just good to read it, I think. 7 is a favorite new author, debut, or new to me, and I don't have any really, maybe Hong Kong, because The Vegetarian was pretty interesting, but aside from that, I don't really have a new favorite author. I haven't really read that many books. I've only read 13, so. My newest fictional crush, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I put, if I had to pick of all of the men from the books I've read, I might just say Wes from Better Than the Movies. He seems very nice, very considerate, very, I don't know, very kind, but at the same time he seems to like overlook flaws, and I don't know, I don't really have one. So my newest favorite character is Oklahoma Girl from Ice Plant Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, and I don't know what her name is, that's why I write Oklahoma Girl, but I think she's funny, and I think that she says what's on her mind, and she doesn't let things slide past you, if that makes any sense. Like, she like, how do I say, if you do something wrong, she's not gonna sugarcoat it, and I like that about Oklahoma Girl. So if I knew her name, I would write it down. I really have no idea what her name is. A book that made me cry, but not applicable. There were no books that made me cry. No books that made me cry this year. Yeah, I tend not to cry for books. So, a book that made you happy, I put Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, because those the last 100 pages were actually really fun to read, and I had fun with the last 100 pages. So that little bit did make me happy. Most beautiful book bought or received so far this year. Okay, wait. So honestly, I have been trying not to buy many books. And if I do, I try to buy them secondhand. And then on top of that, a lot of the books I do buy might be in Arkansas and they might not be here. But essentially, I went to Goodwill a couple weeks ago, and I thought that the colors of this book is really pretty. You can look at the spine and the back, and I was like, oh, beautiful swans or whatever. And the front's kind of like crusty because this is a like second hand-me-down book. But I just thought it looked really pretty. Very enticing. I'm excited to read it. The colors are very beautiful. So I'm pretty excited to read this book because of it's a pretty cover to me. I like the colors, I like the flowers, I like the swans in the back, and I really like the side. So, and you can tell it's been read, so it's probably good. 13. What books do you need to finish by the end of the year? Okay, so right now I'm in the middle of 2 books. I'm in the middle of The Coin by Yasmin Zahir. I actually have it right here. I don't have much to go, but I'm still, I'm reading it. It's alright. I'm enjoying it. I hope I maybe can do like a whole review of it. So I need to finish this, and then I also need to finish Martian by Andy Weir. I'm also in the middle of that, and I'm enjoying it. I think the narrator's funny. I think that potatoes will be potatoes, and I'm hoping to watch the movie after so that way I can get more insight to The Martian. I think it's really fun. So books that I need to reread: the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, because I do want to finish that by the end of this year. I like rereading them every year just for fun, really, and I like how immersive the setting of Harry Potter is. And then I also really want to reread The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Sorry, my roommate called me. Yeah, I feel like in this economy and this society, I need to reread The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I read that when I was in 9th grade, and I think it'd be good to reread. It'd be interesting to see the parallels from what we're experiencing right now with society, or like, because I live in the U.S., so like what the U.S. is going through and what the U.S. is changing about its political scope, and what happened in The Handmaid's Tale. So I really want to reread it, so that's the tea. For 15, I think these are the other questions. Oh, the other questions started at 14 with books to reread. And then 15, favorite author this year, I had said none. 16, books I'm putting off. All of my library loans, I have like 8. I have 8, and so I want to finish those. 17, book I've enjoyed with mixed reviews. I don't know. I don't really know. There's Better Than the Movies, and that I think has mixed reviews, and I didn't enjoy it. But as for I enjoyed with book mixed reviews, I don't really know. 18 series I want to finish. Okay, so I have quite a few. I want to finish the Cursebreaker series. I just need to finish the 3rd book, or start and finish the 3rd book. And then Better Than the Movies, because I like finishing series even if I didn't like the book. So that's only one other book at least. Then I want to finish the Ice Planet Barbarian series. I would have to read number 2 through 19, plus the in-between novellas by Ruby Dixon. So, and then Grimmel's Girls, because I started reading that series this year. I think it's only a duology though, so I'd read the 2nd book. And then Harry Potter, which is the 3rd up to the 7th book by J.K. Rowling. So yeah, those are the series I want to finish. I don't think I'll finish them all this year though. 19 is the 5-star predictions. I put The Coin down, but this was before I started reading The Coin, because I had seen that Jack Edwards had read, I think it's Jack Edwards, I think that's his name, had read The Coin and really enjoyed it. And I've been hearing a lot of good things about The Coin, so I was like, oh, it's gotta be good, right? And so far as I'm going along and I'm reading it, I'm enjoying it, but I don't really think I would give it 5 stars. But we'll see by the time I finish the book. It might change. My opinion might change. Will I reach my goal or change it? And I said yes. My goal for this year was to read 25 books, which always feels like a punch to the stomach considering how many books I used to read. Like in 2020, I read 100, and then in 2021, I read like 80 or something like that. But each year has gone drastically down. So it's like, oh, for each year, I'll just read that number of books, because I'm getting to the point where it's like, I don't have time to read as often as I used to, especially during COVID, because I literally had nothing else to do. So I think I will reach my goal, because considering at the rate that I'm reading this summer, and I have nothing else to do as well. So yeah, I'll probably reach that goal. And then section 21 is any new reading goals, and I want to read another memoir. I like reading memoirs. I think it's really interesting to learn different perspectives, and honestly, I also learned quite a bit from the different memoirs. Like, not anybody can write a memoir. I read the Britney Spears memoir, and I didn't really like it. I felt like her writing was very juvenile. I felt like somebody else had written it for her, or I felt like she was still 17 years old, but I know that she's not 17. So there's like I feel like I learned more about the writing and how a memoir goes and like the person's life the more memoirs I read. So that's another reading goal I have, as well as actually finishing a series, and I hope that I'll finish at least one other series. I'm so bad at finishing series. So, and then 22 is the last question: do I have any DNFs or have I not finished any books? And I said no. I try not to not finish books. I like to start and then finish them, but low-key, I try to keep that at the bare minimum or to like extremes. But for the most part, no. So that's all I have. These are all the questions. Oh, we can review the stats really quick. My stats. Okay, so the 25 books that I wanted to read in 2025, I've only read 2 so far, and then I've been adding as I go along, but I've only added the coin. So when I finish that, I can cross it out. And then I've only had 1 reread, which I've said already. And then for my monthly overview, I just recently updated this, so I don't really know the total pages I've read for each month. I'd have to go through and calculate that. But you can see that January, I read 1 book, February 2, March 4, April, I didn't read any. March, I read 5 books. No, January, March, April, May, I read 5 books, which was my best reading month. I'm surprised at the number of physical books I've read. Obviously, I've read more audiobooks than anything else because audiobooks are just a lot easier to read for me, especially if I'm like going on my way to work or on my way to school or anything like that. So, and then the Kobos as well, which you can tell some of them are from Libby, and then actually most of them are. May, I think I read 1 Kobo Plus book. That's pretty much it. But we'll see. Oh, and then my monthly reads, you can see January, February, March, April. May I kind of messed up here, but that's okay. And then June. And then the genre tracker, how many genres I've been reading from. You can see most of it has been fantasy, and then romance, and then I'm surprised that I've read 2 horrors, which is up next, because I usually don't read horror. So that's fun, and so I'm excited to hopefully read from all of these sections that I have for myself. But let's see if I have anything else that's interesting. Yeah, that's all, really. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the video wasn't too long. I tried to go fast because I was like, I don't want to spend too long on this video. But yes, right. Have a good day, have a good night wherever you're at. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!